on, let's go. Let's go. All right. Well, thank you guys, and welcome to the 10th annual or 10th anniversary of the Exit Planning Summit. We got a big show for you guys planned over the next couple of days. I start preparing my kind of opening remarks probably about like a month before the summit event. And I like to come in early, so I actually got in here on Wednesday afternoon and spent a couple of days before we start setting up, kind of tinkering around with what I want to say. And then as I spend more time with you guys, as you start to arrive on Friday and Saturday and Sunday, I revise it again. And if you know me well, I'm not necessarily the most polished guy, so I didn't have anything wildly professional to describe how I'm feeling as I stand on stage at a 20th anniversary of our profession, a 10th anniversary of this very Exit Planning Summit, which has always been very near and dear to my heart, and the official launch of our DriveValue.com campaign, other than maybe a very traditional Scott phrase is that I'm friggin' jacked. And so I hope that you guys can feel that energy from each other and from our team here at EPI, because again, we have an amazing show. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I think that it's a really special year. I think for many folks, having a company, an organization that has survived for 20 years in business is absolutely something to be excited for. I think it's something like only 21% of American-owned businesses actually make it to the 20th anniversary, and I think it's about only about 40% actually get to the 2 or 3 year mark. So I think we're really doing something special. But as I walked into 2025 and reflected, it's really not necessarily about a company that we built. I think it's more about a profession that we created. If you were with us yesterday at the Excellence in Exit Planning Awards, we honored our founders and inducted them into the Exit Planning Circle of Excellence, our Exit Planning Hall of Fame, if you will. And what Pete and Rich did 20 years ago was not enter kind of this old school red ocean, right, where you open up a company, you have multiple competitors, you're selling similar products and services along the way. No, they didn't do that. They went into a blue ocean, something that didn't exist, something that people weren't talking about, and drove towards a passion that they had found after they wrote their book, The $10 Trillion Opportunity. They created something I think so profound that it has changed lives over 20 years and will continue to change lives. Rich is with us today, and I don't know where he is. I hope he's in the room somewhere. But if, Rich, you're here, can you stand up and be recognized? Are you in the room? Where's he at? Oh, look at him. He's all the way in the back. Rich, as I said yesterday, man, it's really cool to have you here. Thank you for what you've done. You and Pete changed everybody's life here in this room and certainly changed ours. What's cool for me is that not only am I up here as the president of the Exit Planning Institute, perhaps a faculty member and an advisor, I actually stand in front of you more as a business owner. So not only have you taught me how to teach and how to live in a holistic way, but you've quite literally affected our own family business. And I think the legacy that you and Pete created is known and will be known for many years to come. There are two things that really stood out in that 20-year anniversary video. The first is that it's not necessarily about exit planning. It's really about elevating yourself and elevating your company. And that really, I think, stood out to me. As I travel and get to speak at a lot of our chapters and other conferences, people have started to say, you guys do more than just exit planning. Now, we lead with exit planning because we believe that, right, exit planning is now, right? It's present tense. It's a way that you run your business and you run your life. The other thing that stood out to me is that we lead by purpose. And so if you've seen a presentation done by me, whether we're online or in person, I always take the opportunity to kind of renew that purpose when I'm in front of people. And I thought on the grand stage that has become the largest exit planning centric event for professional advisors in the world, with nearly 1,000 people this year, I thought I'd renew our purpose with all of you. In fact, if you remember your studies inside of the Walking to Destiny book in the credentialing program, you would know that we should do this at least on a quarterly basis during a quarterly renewal. You heard it talked about probably throughout the last couple of days as well. The purpose of the Exit Planning Institute is to help business owners create more significant companies. And I think there's a big difference between something that's year-over-year successful, perhaps income generation mindset, versus something that's long-term valuable that builds a lasting legacy. See, I think there are certainly business owners in the room today, and I think if you ask those business owners, do you feel proud and successful of what you built over perhaps decades? I think a lot of them would say, hell yes. I know I would. I would say absolutely. I think we have a meaningful product and service. We have a great membership and customer base. We have great employees and a great culture. Our family lives well. Yeah, I'm proud and successful in our business. But I think for most owners, when they go to transition their company, whether that's internal or external, they're kind of slapped in the face for the first time because somebody has called their baby ugly. Is that though over 10, 12, 40 years, they concentrated on what makes a successful company, what they didn't realize is that does not necessarily translate to significance. And a significant company is one that is highly valuable, ready, and attractive, that is aligned to the business owner's business, personal, and financial goals. I think that's what our community here today exists to do. We are here to create immense value and a lasting legacy for our business owners through teaching them and working through the value acceleration methodology. I think it's why you showed up in part for our 3 days here together at the summit. We are here to further our skill set and build our teams to go help business owners do that. And by doing that, folks, we become our owners' most valued advisors. So I hope you find this week wildly impactful. 10 years ago, me and the EPI team felt something different. If you've been with us for a long time, we did have a EPI annual international conference with like a whole 80 people. And for me, it just felt so normal. It felt very traditional. And many of you have to go to a technical, traditional conference for those ever sought after CE credits, learn the latest tax update, and further what your specific expertise and knowledge base is within the value acceleration methodology. Also in 2014, when we were feeling this rebrand, it was the first conference that I had taken over since Dad and I bought the business in 2012. And if you know me well, I went to horticulture school at Ohio State, so I didn't know a damn thing about running conferences. And in fact, when we bought EPI, we had a person in my position running it still for us until July of 2014, I took over that event. And in September of 2014, we hosted the conference, and I'll forever remember, in Fort Worth, Texas. I thought, felt pretty good about it if you were there. I thought it was a good show. And as Dad and I sat down to review the budget and financials, I realized that I lost us $44,000. I mismanaged our hotel room block. I didn't know that these rooms would just go away. I thought they would just go away and somebody else would buy them. Nope. We guaranteed those rooms and we didn't fill them, so we lost $44,000. I would have brought all of you. I brought friends, family, the whole thing if I would have known, right? But nonetheless, what this event has really become is a 2 to 3 day immersion style of event where I think it's really more about experiences, people, and innovation. It's a place that we come to learn and grow and frankly be inspired. It's a place where you get exposed to great partners that can actually help you grow your business and deepen your relationship with business owners. It is also a place to innovate and create. And frankly, folks, what I want this event to be for you is not just a place where we professionally grow, but a place where we can personally grow as well. I think we've come a long way. We had to take a 2-year break during our pandemic in 2020 and 2021. We came back in 2022 very strong. I thought we were really good, right? We're the exit planning people, so structural capital, right? We have to have process and systems. And we had a really good process and system for about a 180-person conference until in 2022 we hosted about 425. Right out of the pandemic, doubled the size of our conference. And now we're approaching nearly 1,000 people. And it is without doubt, I think in any great organization and any great product or service, it is not because of one person, it's because of many. And I want to just recognize a few of those folks as we kick off our summit officially here today. I first want to thank REAG, Scott, Jacqueline, Todd. Really appreciate everything that you do for our organization, the EPI community of advisors, our certified exit planning advisors. This is their third year in that title sponsor spot, and very, very dedicated people. You probably recognize Scott and Jacqueline from their time in our EPI faculty. I also want to thank the other three major partners that round out that, what we call internally at least, the Big Four. I'd like to thank Joe, Shelley, and everybody at Strazzeri Mancini and the Founders Group. I'd like to thank Jared and Craig at Capitalize. And I'd like to welcome and thank every EOS implementer in the room, and Kelly Knight, who's joining us as our power session speaker for EOS Worldwide, stepping up in a major way and rounding out our Big Four sponsors and partners of this conference. I would encourage you to go visit all of our partners that are outside in that hall. I think truly a group of people that serve us and allow us to grow our companies. Next, I'd like to thank my dad, Chris Snider. He's around here somewhere, I think. Dad, I would say we've done a lot of 20-year reflection this year, but in 2012, when we bought the company, and in 2013, when you implemented the value acceleration methodology into what we do, you took all of these concepts and frankly made them our reality. And it's a reality that I live by every single day. It has certainly affected the way we do things at EPI, and I'd like to think that all of you can look at Team EPI as an example and case study of who we are as an organization and community. Last but certainly not least, I'd like to invite Team EPI up to the stage. They're all stationed over here in the corner, so if you guys can just come up here real quick. It's like the least favorite thing that they do all week. But nonetheless, if you know me well, I've played on many teams, from professional sports to business to community boards, and I would say this is the best damn team that I've ever played on. I always like to take a moment, yeah, Paige, there's a lot of us here today. I'd always like to take a moment so that you guys can kind of put some faces with some names, and I would encourage you all to interact with these people as much as possible. They are incredible human beings. First, I would like to say that if you look across this team, they are also value creators. I think a lot of the time we sit here and we talk about how we can change the owner's mindset from income generation to value creation, but it truly, I think, takes form when you've changed your employees' behavior as well, and they're not just showing up to a job and reducing expenses or driving revenue or positioning your brand or operating your company, but they're actually doing it in a value acceleration way. In fact, Paige was the first one to put a value-based performance review on my desk. I gave Paige a formal performance review, as you would. Paige is one of our executives as well, so she's sitting with me. And Paige just has like a really shitty poker face. So she's sitting there, and I'm like, Paige, man, like, what's wrong? Just talk to me. And she's like, well, okay. She said, you and Chris teach me about value acceleration every day, but we don't review it in our performance reviews. You give me the X's and O's. She's in charge of our marketing and branding. So we review things like core values and culture and responsibilities. And sure, we hit all of that. In fact, I had thought that we gave you a pretty good review, a bonus, and a raise. And so she slides a one-page piece of paper across the table, and she says, Scott, this is how much value I just created in your business for you and Chris. And that's when I said, wow, it's working. And, oh shit, how do I pay her for that? But there are three individuals that I specifically like to call out in addition. So at EPI, we do the EPI Employee Awards every year. We look back at the last 12 months. So this year we looked at 2024. And then when we get back into the office and hunkered back down for the year, typically at the end of January, early February, we do two big awards. The first person I'd like to recognize is Alex Lucas as our Rookie of the Year. Give her a hand. Go ahead, Alex. You can stand up. So at EPI, we have about 5 to 8 new employees join us per year. So we have a bunch of newcomers, and we like to have a rookie that can be a model for all the newcomers around them. And so she has certainly done that, well earned. Claim to fame, though, that cup car the race car that sits in the lobby, she designed it. That's her claim to fame. And And I know that the Legacy Motor Club guys are sitting in the back behind stage right now, so I'm sure they can hear me. Would love to get the drivevalue.com car in the NASCAR 25 video game, right? Next, at the very end, I'd like to thank and honor Mr. Drew English. Drew is a huge part of this event, but Drew is our Employee of the Year. So come on, give him a hand. What's cool about Drew is that he's been around since like the beginning. I think he was like employee 5 or 6 or something like that. And he left for a little bit and then came back home. And he came back home in a big way and earned Employee of the Year just last year. So last but certainly not least, I'd like to thank Jocelyn. Jocelyn, if you saw her at the welcome reception yesterday, gave a welcoming speech, but she hates this right now. But nonetheless, I don't think she gets enough credit. In 2022, I said, hey, we're going to start hosting in-person conferences again, and I think it's going to be a big one, and I need somebody to run it. Not only do I need somebody to run it, I need somebody to be responsible for it and accountable to it. Both your experience and the growth of the event. She has taken on that role since 2022, has taken us from 400 people to 1,000 people, have taken us as a little blip on the radar at a resort to buying out the whole damn thing. I really don't think you get enough credit because you like sitting behind the scenes. So I just wanted to say thank you and give you a round of applause. All right, okay, so our goal and this team's goal at EPI for this very event, I was with my wife down in St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands. I went to this place called the Buccaneer. If you haven't gone, you should totally go. When we checked in, we are standing there, there's a piece of driftwood on the wall behind the registration desk. And it's a 4th-generation family business, the only privately held resort on the island of their capacity and nature. And there was a saying that sat on the wall that actually inspired me. Just go on LinkedIn, I posted all about it. And I came home and challenged Jocelyn and the team, and I said, look, I want that to be how we present our exit planning summit, so I want to introduce it to you. I want this summit to be so impactful to you that you go home and tell other people about it. You come back every year and you bring a colleague, and that by coming here, whether you're a CEPA or not, you become an ambassador of our profession and an ambassador of the value acceleration methodology. As we celebrate 20 years, I think we also look to the next 20 years as well. For me, some folks heard me talk about it last night at our rooftop VIP dinner. For me, I think it's time that business owners know who we are. I believe if you look at the State of Owner Readiness Survey, 57% of baby boomers are saying they want to transition and exit their companies in the next 5 years. The next generation below them, 38%, say they want to do the same. And I think that this wave of exits that Pete and Rich wrote about 20 years ago is finally upon us. And I think that through our drivevalue.com campaign, business owners will be able to come in and learn and grow and expose themselves to the value acceleration methodology. I want you to think about drivevalue.com like a central hub for everything value acceleration. Again, where owners can come, learn, and grow together, and most importantly, be introduced to all of you, the certified exit planning advisor, the owner's most valued advisor.